Hello there and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United. I'm of course George. Welcome along to the channel everybody. And it's another match reaction. These matches just come thick and fast. We're reacting to last night's 1-1 draw with Everton, and if they're wanting transfer news, obviously there's plenty of there. It's transfer deadline day tomorrow. Looks like Leeds United are in for some players. But without any further ado, obviously we're playing Everton at Elland Road last night. For me, we'll get straight into the thick of it. We started well, for the first 10-15 minutes. Lots of possession, lots of, not really doing much, but we had plenty of possession. And then in the 17th minute, obviously Anthony Gordon scores. It's a horrendous mess from Leeds United defensively. It's a nice finish, but you'd probably say he probably should be scoring that. But it's Diego Llorente, isn't it? What a mess he made of that pass from Iwobi, wasn't it? I think back to Gordon. Got it all mixed up, obviously, and then Gordon finishes it off. Suddenly we're 1-0 down. Like I said, we'd had all the play. We weren't really looking like doing much with the ball, but we had all the pressure, all the possession. Everton obviously trying to do the tactic of hitting us on the counter attack. It worked very, very well. Worked very nicely, to be fair. And they got themselves 1-0 in front, and frustrating him in the pink kit, with his ears. There he is with his fingers in his ears. He was diving about all night. There was a bit where he got into a little bit of a head-to-head with Christensen, which was quite funny to watch. Obviously, then we're putting on the pressure. Everton are sitting back a little bit, waiting on the counter attack, and Rodrigo gets injured, doesn't he? His dislocated shoulder. You could see it happening as on the replay as Pickford went to put his hand on his shoulder. Rodrigo in lots and lots of pain. Had to have the gas and air from the medical team on there. He was in tears coming off the field, wasn't he? With his arm in his shirt as a sort of makeshift sling. He was very, very visibly upset. He put on Instagram, didn't he, afterwards, how sad he was, but hopefully recover well and get ready for Saturday. He obviously hopes that he'll be ready again for Saturday. Hopefully he will be. The pressure still builds and builds and builds for Leeds. Plenty of possession, but not really doing anything with it. Everton look quite happy, like I said, to just sit back and try and soak up the pressure, hit us on the counter attack, which they did. Throughout the game. Throughout the game, they were very, very dangerous. Obviously, Damari Gray, he should have scored. He wasn't offside. We were very lucky with that one. And he's a dangerous player, but Leeds United defence just didn't seem to learn. But anyway, the second half comes along, and Sinistera, who was the one shining light for me, who really, there was a couple of good performances, but he was the one that really, you could see he would light things up for Leeds. He was obviously going to be the player to score. He did. It comes from an Aronson pass out wide to him, and he just takes like a touch or so and just hits it. Wrong foot's Pickford. Pickford should do a lot better. And it goes into the net, and suddenly it's 1-1, and we're putting on the pressure. Now, a player I want to speak about as a man that impressed me was Mark Rocker. Now, you wouldn't have heard Mark Rocker's name really mentioned a lot, I don't think, in the commentary. I think it was Ian Dark doing the commentary, and he didn't really mention him too much, but he was just silent and deadly, if you like. Silent and very, very, just very good at what he was doing. He quietly went about it, got in through the tackles, nice passing. Didn't light up the game, but it was one of them where we needed to win that midfield battle. I think Tyler Adams next to him did very, very well as well as a pair. I really like the pair of them as a two. They just seem to complement each other really, really nicely. And Rocker, yeah, he had a marvellous game, I thought, and he would be my man of the match. I don't know who got it from a Leeds United persuasion. I know they did give it Pattison on BT Sport, and he had a good game. I think like that man on the screen, Robin Koch, had also a very impressive game next to the shambles that was Diego Llorente on the night. Obviously, Bamford came on in the second half. The substitutions for me were a little bit puzzling. I don't know why he took off Sinistera, because Sinistera was, like I said, that one player that looked like he might get us a goal or win us the game. Aronson as well was a creative outlet, and he took them both off. And also didn't understand the Gelhardt one again. Why don't you bring Paddy on? If you're going to bring him on when Rodrigo gets injured. You know what I mean? He might be able to affect it a bit more, because Joffrey wasn't good last night. Had a couple of chances that he really should be scoring. I think if you, like I say, if you want to be in a sort of a Premier League striker, you have to be scoring those sort of goals. Obviously, there's Christensen going head to head with Anthony Gordon. Something to nothing, wasn't it, that? But Christensen showed his real worth and that real fight that we expect from him. Really, that's a player we expect to get. Um, Obviously, that goal line clearance was very impressive, and that man there on the screen, Melier, I thought had a disappointing night distribution wise, all over the place. Put us under pressure quite a few times. Um, but also had some very good moments, shot stopping wise. Obviously, there was one from Patterson very late on in the game where he should have scored. There he is. He's sort of the one that impressed me for Everton the most. Should have scored that goal, like I said, but he was up and down. He marshalled Jack Harrison very well, I felt, actually, in this game, because Harrison is always a tricky customer. But yeah, I felt like Patterson really had the run on him. Got done a few times, but he always went back. He always went back and you know and kept going, and that's what you want from young players, isn't it? Obviously, but I just felt overall, I think a few fans need to keep their expectations in check. I would always say a point against Everton, if it's home, if it's away at Goodison, is a good point. We looked like better, a lot better in the second half for me. Um, First half was disappointing. But the second half, we imposed our. I think we're better than Everton. I know I said some fans need to just temper their expectations, which I think they do. I know that we're better than Everton, but it's not always that simple, is it? And Everton had this game plan that they really, really wanted to sit in and frustrate and then counter attack, and it nearly worked. Like I said, that offside goal, the defence were all over the place. Damari Gray's got that pace to to unlock the defence, and he did. And it should have been a goal. It should have been 2-1 to Everton at that stage. And ultimately, whether we'd gone on to lose that game, obviously they're still waiting awaiting their first win. Um, but yeah, I just think a point anywhere against Everton is a decent point. Any point in the Premier League really is decent. We've had a good start. We're looking like we're in the market now for a couple of players going into deadline day. As I'm recording this now, I think we're looking like we're missing out on Cody Gakpo, who could be going to Southampton potentially. Obviously, there's dominoes effects that Jesse Marsh has talked about, with Dan James going perhaps to Tottenham. We're also in for Hwang, he Chan, aren't we? But looks like Wolves are playing hard ball with him. So whether there's some other targets around, personally, I still think we're going to go for Martin Terrier at Rennes. They play tonight, Wednesday night. I know Gakpo has already scored a couple as I'm recording this for PSV, his final appearance for them. I'm pretty sure. Let's see if we get him. But let me know how you feel about this game. Are you happy with the point? Did you think that we needed more than this? Personally, like I've said, I'm pretty content with the point, really. I felt like we could have won it, but we also could have lost it. There was a few scary moments, weren't there, in that second half in particular, where that Patterson chance, that Christensen off the line, Joffrey could have scored a couple, but it was an entertaining game. I felt sort of pretty end to end in the end as it ticked down to full time, and yeah, in the end it's a 1-1 draw. We move on to Brentford on Saturday. Let me know what you're thinking about that one as well. But hopefully we'll get a win there, and hopefully we'll have a few, one or maybe two new players, who knows, through the door by then. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. Marching on together. I'll see you on the next one.